From the interview that Heels on the Ground, Molly, Chronicles of Olivia, Bullhorn Betty, and JLR did with Dudley Ajan, Dudley talks about what would otherwise be Don's 7 alibis, or Don's alibi that day. And many of you overlook this or don't know it exists. Can't understand, if Don's so bad, why he gets away with the things that he does. Dudley Ajan shared his experience right up until the day Summer was reported missing. So here at this point, timestamp of part 2 of Chronicles of Olivia, timestamp 516, Dudley talks about him being a subcontractor and having the ability to really come and go as he pleases. He farms out his own contracts like he did to Dudley on a 50-50 basis, only to stiff him in the end. In this circumstance, he gave Dudley $300 of the $21 or so $100 they agreed upon in the beginning. On a side note, Don Wells did the same thing locally to Fred Hill as he did to Dudley Ajan, in paint him as one of the prime suspects that would presumably have abducted Summer in this circumstance, which is nonsense. Let's pick it up.
Is he a contract with Tucker?
Yeah, he's a subcontractor. That's all he is. Yeah, Tucker doesn't want anything to do with it.
So Tucker can't fire him or anything like that?
They feel bad for him because they believe his shit.
Wow. And I reached out to Richard
They're
Tucker.
supposedly a Christian, but, you know, Richard's a good guy.
So he's talking about the hierarchy in this Tucker drywall. And Richard, the owner, relies on his son, who then in turn has people that he relies upon. Everybody in Don's immediate has the same secret to keep. There's RSOs, people who allegedly, according to Dudley, have issues with intravenous drug use. And these are the people that surround Don Wells on the daily.
Richard is an awesome guy. His wife, Miss Rose, beautiful people. They'll do anything in the world. The problem is the company's so big that they don't actually get to see everything. Like Jesse probably never goes on 90% of his jobs because he's got people to go there and he relies on those people to pick up the checks and do what they got to do. Okay, the job. Well, me personally, I have a few haters out there. I'm a threat to some of them, and they don't want me around, so, you know.
Do you want to tell us who those are? This way you have an added layer of protection?
Well, Mike Oliver's going to stick up for me, and he chose to turn his back on me.
Inside with Don?
Put me in a category, yeah, like they wanted to say that I was, I guess, a method.
So who is Oliver? He works with Don?
No, he works with Tucker. He's Tucker's touch-up. They tried saying I took too long on the job, but they never actually went there to the job. The job had 10 bathrooms, and that's how big the house was. Okay, it was over $1 million home. And you could see every flat, butt joint, the arches looked like shit. But the screw holes you could see all along the wall because they painted the baby blue cine gloss paint. And it showed everything. And I went through and fixed the whole house. And it took over 2 weeks, and nobody once checked up on me, but they said I wanted to take too long on the job. Well,
You might want to put that down here.
who says one man can do all this? I pretty much solid coated walls, fixed all the arches. The only one that actually knew what I'd done and appreciated was the homeowner. He saw me there working. It was 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, and he thanked me because he noticed everything I'd done. All the details. He had a multi-$1 million home. It was custom. And I was pissed. The last thing you see is drywall when it's all done.
Is there any other companies that Don Wells works for? Like besides Tucker? Like he's just his own. It's a subcontractor.
Tucker's always been his own guy. That's been his man, Tucker. That's why he felt threatened by me, because he said I had so many attached jobs I could do. Why do I need to work there? You know, I was going to take his job. You know, but he took his own job. I was there to help him as a partner.
If Don,
It sounds like it was a clique of tweakers in that sense, and RSOs who all like to look after each other in this, and old Dudley didn't fit into this.
sounds awful, but was to dispose of, say, Summer's body, where do you think, because you're more familiar around here than we are, where do you think that location could possibly be?
We have got to the point where literally any
Between Rock Springs and Greene County.
Why?
Well, because that's his backwards. Look up the map. He could be in Greene County in 30 minutes from his house. And we did a lot of jobs out there in Chucky. Chucky is another one. There's some woods out there, man, that scare me. You know, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. I would have never thought, you know, but I would guess Rock Springs to Greene County, where I checked. That covers Jonesboro and everything. That's a straight shot.
But what is your opinion on what you think happened this summer? Like, do you think something happened with Candace and Axel?
My wife and I talked about that, and I really believe, I don't know what my wife thinks, but I really believe that Summer got hurt, you know, and fell and killed herself. That was a dangerous house. And for her to have to say she came out and screamed, why did you scream? What did you see that you had to scream?
So you believe Jody Sue when she said she heard that scream?
Yeah, I did. I believe that's what I heard, but that was on Monday. That's the day I got fired. They were all there.
Did Don fire you or Richard Tucker fire you?
Don fired me.
What, like, why? Because he's like your at the time supervisor?
Well, we were partners, 50-50. Okay, that's what we were. Jesse put me with him, and because I was working too many hours on the job, he wanted me to go sub because I'd make more money working with Don. He needed some help. Don was doing like maybe one house a month, okay? And he put me with him, so therefore we jumped up to almost 2 houses a month. You know, we was doing a whole house, and then
Did you see him and Candace interact, or maybe even
she would come to the house. She would come to the job site with
She
Rambo.
would. And how did they interact with her? Like
Who's her?
the parents, like Don and Candace, how did they interact
They were
with
always
Summer?
fighting half the time.
They fought a lot.
Yeah, they fought a lot.
Did you ever see them abuse Summer?
I seen him, not Summer, no. But I mean, if it depends on what you consider abuse. You know,
Verbal
you're telling
abuse.
Summer go beat up Dudley and walk on the walkboard that's sitting on stairs 10 feet off the ground. You know, she's 5 years old. The walkboard's the same walkboard they had in the picture of her coming from her house down to the ground. That was her steps. So a walkboard's aluminum and they have holes. You know, it's not something a 5-year-old should walk that walkboard. And I'd be like, Don, what if she falls? This Tucker's job be going down in trouble. You know what I mean? You shouldn't have the kids there.
So when you said that the grandma and Candace would come to the job
Yeah,
sites,
they come
why
there
would they
a couple
come?
of times.
Why would they go there?
One time they came there to get money. One time he had to go outside because they were fighting. I don't know what they were fighting about. But mostly they fought a lot.
When they came there, what kind of vehicle did they come in?
She drove in a Subaru.
Subaru.
Yeah, I believe it got impounded. They took it away. It was
they did?
5 months or something behind. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure.
It was taken back for lack of payment.
The dude's crazy. There's something wrong with him. He's deliberately starting trouble. And, you know, they didn't listen to him. Instead, they set me up for the kill.
Did he tell you why he was driving that car?
No, he didn't tell me why. I don't remember.
Gotcha.
I just thought it was odd because I've never seen it. I worked with him for 2 months. So somebody said 2 weeks. No, I worked with him for 2 months. For 2 weeks prior to this happening, I was begging Jesse and him to give me my own house and move me away from Don. The dude's crazy. There's something wrong with him. He's deliberately starting trouble. And, you know, they didn't listen to me. Instead, they set me up for the kill. So...
Did Don ever bring the boys to work with him?
And flings it right on a brand new window and says, I bet you can't do that. I said, when are you going to grow up? I said, now you get to clean that shit. He turns around after I finish pulling the butt, takes a picture of it, sends it to Jesse and says, look what Dudley did. He's fighting with me. You know, just setting me up for a kill. And Jesse didn't call me. He's just letting Don deal with it.
So, remind me who Jesse is again?
Tucker.
Oh, Jesse Tucker. Okay.
Yeah, Jesse's Richardson.
Richardson.
He's the one that's letting the business go to shit. He'd rather have child pedophiles working for him in these neighborhoods.
Who would that be?
In meth head, Don Wells. If I would have known I was working with a child pedophilist, I don't believe he would have made it.
When you call Don Wells a pedophile, why? Why is
well,
he?
Well, he molested his sisters. Okay, I was told that he was molesting Summer, and possibly Candace got pissed off and killed her because she was jealous. So, you know, there's stories, you know, that really throw red flags up at me.
We've heard the same thing.
And I hear, I've had Candace run out the door telling me, did I ever tell you I hate fucking kids? And I looked at Don and I said, is she talking to me?
Candace said that?
Yeah, Candace said that. And I said, well, she's got 4. She should have kept her legs closed. But Don, on the other hand, he never got the good book about growing up. He's definitely a childlike 14-year-old stuck in a 53-year-old body, or however old he is. Because he's got games. He throw mud on the floors. You know, he wrote all this shit on the walls that I got fired for. And he admitted about a week ago on there that he wrote down everything the meth head would do.
Yeah, we heard that.
So he admitted that he wrote it on the walls, and he said I did.
We heard that at some point TBI or Hawkins County
Look to see about the concrete footers. Because they're the ones that said, do you think she possibly could have been buried in a house or something? I said, you know what? I said, they had a lot of holes around that last job we did. I said that they had to put concrete footers in. I said, and the holes were there, but the concrete wasn't. That is a house on top.
And what location was that at?
Rock Springs, exit 6.
I'm sorry?
Edenberg. Rock Springs, exit 6 on Edenberg.
Do you know the address or road name or anything?
I just know how to get there.
Yeah.
It's literally, the Edenberg is the subdivision with the school that's built on it. But if you were to drive around, it starts with C, Common or something street, turn right on it and go down all the way to the end, take a left, and you'll see the brand new houses. The very house in the corner that's on the right side of the corner, that's the last one me and Don did together. And all them houses to the left of that, to the right of that house, wasn't even there.
your life, it had turned your life upside down. This whole scenario, and how do you feel about
I want
it?
to get the Crunchyroll.
I just think it's like a nightmare. You know, I constantly people asking me, well, I saw this video, saw that video on YouTube, this and that, and it's just becomes too much at times.
Yeah.
You know.
How's this affected your son?
He had his friend Jamie that knew Don more than anybody. But I don't
Jamie
know.
who?
I don't know Jamie's last.
And he works for Tucker?
Yeah, he works for Tucker. He's not a sub. He's back by the hour.
What job position is he there?
Huh? He's a foreman.
He's a foreman.
Yeah, he runs a crew for Tucker Drywall.
Anybody else worth seeing, like coworkers?
Nobody liked Don.
Why didn't nobody like him?
He's a piece of shit.
So no, he wasn't popular.
He was slow. Nobody liked Don. I didn't like him.
Yeah.
I just got stuck working, but they set us up to fail.
When you say slow, what do you mean? Like slow, like just
Dumb.
Physically and mentally.
Candace
He's
too?
a special.
He's like a child.
So a lot of
She's
people.
slower than molasses.
So a lot of people say, how
Yeah.
can two slow people get away with,
Because
doing
they're
this?
playing the dumb role. I'm too dumb. Duh. Please. They know so much that they're good at it. This isn't their first rodeo. They've done this shit.
Career criminals.
She worked at a circus, and I work in construction for my own business. I shut a circus down because half of them were criminals ripping people off of my couch. Just trying to give away hot, stolen four-wheels at a circus. They're all criminals. Nobody legit works at a circus, so...
Have you ever met the grandmother?
That was my
That's
question.
a special one there.
Why?
Grambus is, well, she never said a whole lot, but she had this look on her face. And sometimes I wish I was a fly on the wall just to hear what they were talking about, because they were very, very devious. They had to go outside and talk. They leave the kids inside with me, and they go outside and talk. They would come to the job, and they would start screaming at each other. So Don didn't like Candace or
Grandma.
Mama.
When you were saying it's
And
not
you're-
fair to us, it's not fair to us.
You
When
know,
we were
my
on the phone.
wife posts things on Facebook because she wants to say something nice about our day, and somebody's got to message you and send you a picture of me being accused of Don, being a child something.
Right, right.
That's
You get
pretty
a lot.
shitty.
Yeah, did you get a lot, or do you still get messages?
Oh yeah.
So many times where he was saying he was bragging on me when really he wasn't bragging.
Based on Don's, past criminal background, do you think that people underestimate him as being manipulative, conniving, cunning?
Yeah. I think that he is exactly what that is.
Yeah.
He's very manipulative. He did so many times where he was saying he was bragging on me when really he wasn't bragging on me. He was cutting my throat, throwing mud on the floor and taking pictures of it and sending it to him when I'm the one who cleaned the whole house. I
Do you
mean,
think, how old are you?
42.
42. Do you think he's just trying to belittle you, or in a sense, or because you're
He was
younger?
trying to make me look bad because he wanted to be me and he couldn't. He's got 40 plus years of finishing. I've got 12 years of finishing. I also been a mechanic all my life. So between my construction business, my mechanic business, my detail shop, I was 18 years in business for myself. Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, Virginia. I mean, he envied me. He was upset that he couldn't do the things I could do, and he was more upset that I could do his job better than faster. And I wasn't on that. So that was his problem. He had to throw me under the bus to get me out of there so that I didn't take his job from him. That's the only thing he had. Nobody else would work.
Dudley, Linda, God bless you. Thank you so much for taking your time out.
Thank you
interviewing
so
with us.
much.
I know this had to be difficult. I know you guys had to be terrified, and I just want to tell you guys, thank you so much for
Thank
showing
you.
up and just really being honest with us and allowing.
He ripped me off, but I saw him almost every day last week.
Yeah, like you said.
Kind of weird. My hair stood up the first day I saw him go by because my teeth were gringed. And I thought he wasn't doing 90 mile an hour either. He was doing like 20 mile an hour. So he's seen me there, and he's cahooted with my old boss that I had that just supposedly fired me. But he's cahooted with him, and he's a damn needle junkie. That's why I don't work for him no more. So he wants to accuse me of being, what do you call me, a junkie? Yeah, and a junkie is a needlehead. Somebody who, you know, maybe a crackhead or meth head, but I always thought a junkie was just a heroin dope head, shoot up needles. That's what I always thought. And to be frank honest, I ain't done none of it. I like tattoos, but my ex-boss, his hands, you can see the tracks on them. John Womack paint. He wanted to say I'm a junkie because he got on with Don Wells, and I told him too much, John, and he went ahead and got in with Don Wells and wanted to throw me back in as being the main suspect. I can't hold a job.
Do you know where Don was on June 15th? Was he at work that you know of? I know you were fired the day
Yeah,
before.
Jesse told me he went to skim a house. Wasn't that when I went up to Jesse and I said, Jesse, I said, where's Don? He said he's skimming the house. I said, he's skimming the house when his daughter's missing? I said, there's something wrong with that. I said, because me personally, I don't know that I could work if somebody was skimming a house and my daughter's missing.
What house was that? Where?
That was one of their houses. That was, I forget the name of that subdivision. That's in Jonesboro, though.
So he was in Jonesboro
It's
area.
right there, huh?
Was it in Rock Springs?
No, it
he's
was
in
in
Jonesboro.
Jonesboro.
Right there where? Like,
I want to say by the police station, Sullivan County Police Station.
so he was there the day Summer was
Blunt.
reported missing.
What is that police station up there in Jonesboro? Is that Sullivan County? That is Sullivan County, isn't it? I believe so. I think it is Sullivan County Police. They're pretty big. Huh?
I don't know.
That's what Jesse said. I didn't know. I didn't go. I wasn't allowed to. I was fired.
You don't
I
know if
just
the-
didn't understand why he was going to work when his daughter's missing.